You can't win them all, and sadly, this is potato time. As you can see from the splash screen, it's actually going to turn into a pretty heavy-hitting game for me in the Adachi, but it is well and truly a spud run against overwhelming odds. So let's have a look at the team sheet and see what we're going on here. We've got a lot of battleships, 1 cruiser and 3 destroyers, which means there should be 1 destroyer per team as there are no divisions. We do have a division of Iowas, but honest guys, I don't know what the hell was going on with this game, because it was frankly depressing after playing so hard for so long against so many ships to see this one go down the Swanee. For those of you whose first language isn't English, down the Swanee means down the toilet, and this one truly did get flushed like a big brown stinking turd. And one of the reasons that I clip games and share games like this is because sometimes it can be a learning or a teaching experience to help people understand where I feel that this game went wrong, because I'm not always infallible to making mistakes myself, and it's not necessarily to point out individuals and say they screwed up, although sometimes it is entirely the fault of an individual. Sometimes it is the fault of the collective, and collective is the word that I'm going to use here, because it is very much a collection of big ships right back there in the centre of the map. You'll notice that we've got a destroyer out on ACAP on his own. There isn't a ship there really, I don't think, that is able to give him any support and fire. All he can do is try to contest. There's obviously a Paolo Emilio. There's also a Yadachi out there. I can't remember the other DD. Well, there we go. It's the Benson. We're looking at him now. But I don't know what his detection is. But 5.7 kilometers and I can see him. And I know he's coming my way. But I know that I can keep him spotted because I've still got about 500 meters to play with. So I can just sit here and keep this guy spotted. And hopefully the team might actually be able to hit him. I was saying I hope the team might actually be able to hit him. But no, this is like watching blind people play darts, to be honest. Yeah, it's shockingly bad. How long do I need to keep him spotted for, guys? Are you... Oh, there we go. Look, somebody's hitting him now. They finally found range on him. But the issue we have here, like I said, is everybody has pulled back to the centre of the map at the back. They are stacked up there. I think we've got 6 or 7 ships within about 4 grid squares. The destroyer is completely unsupported on air. I am supported on Charlie, as we could see from people taking pot shots at that destroyer. But there we go. We pick him up at 7Ks again. And I'm like, surely you can't be playing a tier 6 with a commander. That means that you have 7-kilometer concealment on your destroyer. I don't think somebody is set up quite right. But he's going to be a dope and a smoke, because we are going to put torpedoes through that, because if we don't hit him, we're going to flush him out, because I certainly wouldn't want to be sitting in that smoke screen. But the guy across on ACAP has had to pull off. We have got a battleship running into the centre of Bravo Cap now. Again, he has gone into that unsupported. There is a Zeton at the bottom end of there. And we all know that the Zeton has those amazing secondaries. And him sailing into range of that is just, I think, going to get him killed. Because there is also, I think, a Yadachi out there. We lost a destroyer early on to a Yadachi, and I was surprised to see that it came up as a gun kill. But then I did this and I wasn't so surprised, because it does actually hit quite hard, but it was the fact of the matter that it was a Mars that went out to the Adachi, which I would have thought was a bit more of a gunboat. But yeah, since we can't switch to see what happened over there, we shall just have to leave it with a little bit of speculation. But you'll see now we have got 1, 2, 3 battleships and fourth, yes, 4 battleships, and yeah, this is going to become a very sticky wicket. The Sinop takes out our Georgia, which means that I've got an Iowa behind me. There is also the cruiser out there behind me as well, which I think is a Kutyasov, and I was hoping that perhaps he'd be doing a little bit more damage. But the Kutyasov is completely shaded these days by the Azur-Lane Chapayev, which is a completely overpowered Russian cruiser, because that thing can just melt ships. And if you ever come across 3 people in a division in them, you want to make sure that they are taken care of, because unlike happened to me the other day, I lasted all of about 40 seconds when all 3 of them focused me. And it wasn't a pleasant experience, and I think it perhaps does need a little bit of balance. But I want to try and get this Zeton spotted behind here. There's a Georgia behind here as well. There's another battleship behind here. I think it's a Kansas. So I want to try and get it spotted and give my team the opportunity to at least put some shots on things. And there he is, tucked in on the side of the island. There's the Kansas. But look at the back end of ACAP. That battleship has been sat there pretty much since the start of the game. I don't know what he's able to shoot at, if anything, but the destroyer has finally been able to move on to the capture point, but we're down 5 ships to red team's 3. And I'd love to be able to push into Bravo Cap here, but I can't go up against those 2. And I also can't leave these guys on Bravo Cap unsupported, because this guy out here, look, is pushing hard. They are pushing hard on the flank on this side. They're pushing hard from the center. And I see that Alpha Cap has been turned, and I'm thinking, great. All that destroyer needs to do now is to cut through onto Bravo Cap. And we've got them from both sides. But I think this is the turning point in this game. Well, if it wasn't the turning point when one of the other 5 ships disappeared. But I really think that would have been the smart decision, because there is 1 destroyer left on red team, and if you get rid of that destroyer, then they can't sail between the capture points undetected, and that would have been the key to winning this game, because we have played 2 caps. We aren't actually that far behind on the points at this moment in time. But that destroyer is going to come chasing things out to the east and then to the south. And I'm like, come on, turn for the cap. Go find the destroyer, support that battleship. And like I said, I play with one eye on the minimap the whole time, trying to figure out what is going on, who is where, what ranges people are at, who's a risk, who's on a reload, what shells are the firing. There's the Zeton coming in. I can't be within 6 kilometers of him because of the sonar. I certainly don't want to be within probably 10 kilometers of him because of the secondaries. So I need to push out. I can't contest this cap any longer for my own safety, for my own survival. I've got to come out of that cap. Now, that Iowa should know that that is the guy that is going to do him all the damage. But geez, how that shot doesn't land, I don't know, because both those guys are absolutely broadside. I think he knows my torpedoes are coming. I'm now located, which means that I'm the closest to somebody running twist and track or perceptive, but we get a hit on the Zeton. And now I'm thinking, is that a flood? Is that going to slow him down? Is he going to stop in a cap and wait for it to turn? Let's put the torpedoes on. But by the looks of it on the minimap, I think that Iowa is turning and running. I can't actually see the angle of the ship from where I am. Is he turning and running, or is he going away, or is he coming towards us? I can't quite see. No, he's going towards him, but he is obviously going to get melted by the secondaries of that Zeton. But he goes down to main guns. He wasn't going to survive that. We've got the sit-up, the Zeton, and the Kansas there. So I know that was unsurvivable for him. But it means that we have lost this capture point completely. Now, one eye on the map again, I'm looking at where the other destroyer is, and he's coming in there between Alpha and Bravo caps, and I'm thinking he he has seen the minimap. He knows what he has to do now. He is going to try and get in behind those guys, get into Bravo Cap, and pick up that destroyer and get rid of him. And then if he can turn a Bravo Cap, it means that red team are going to be pulled back in the opposite direction. But they have opened up a significant lead on the two of us at the moment, and these guys are sort of running in and hunting me down, and all he has to do is turn into Bravo, but he doesn't. He turns away, and it leaves me a little bit in despair and shaking my head, because he's full health. He's full health. It's a Summers. You know, he's got 2 salvos to the Adachi's 1. And although the Adachi has got torpedoes and perhaps slightly better concealment, it isn't by much. And if he was in that cap, I really think it would have drawn red team back towards it a lot quicker. And even now, when we see the alpha cap is turning, he doesn't think about turning and going and doing something about Bravo or defending Alpha. Now, I don't know whether at this point he resigned himself that this game was lost, so he was going to do his own thing. But when I saw that happening, I just thought there is no coming back from this one. Without those caps, we can't do anything to win. Now, you know from the start screen that the damage tally on this one is quite significant, and it's because literally, apart from the destroyer, every single ship is on this capture point. We've picked up a couple of kills already, and these guys are in a position, if we get spotted, to absolutely wail in with all those big guns. But even the red team here are going to make mistakes, because the only blue team ships left in this game are destroyers. The ammunition that they should have loaded is high explosive. Guess what? They don't. We get some torpedoes there on the Kansas, and we get a little bit too close, get ourselves detected, and I think, okay, we can finish this guy. I'm going to go guns, because the Adachi's guns, even though they load slowly, they do pack quite a punch. There's the high caliber to go with the Confederate, so that's 6 ships for 20% of their health at least, and high caliber is at least 30% of the overall hit points of the enemy team. So that's a significant amount of damage. We've just added to it with the torpedoes on the Sinop, and I'm looking at that Kansas, I'm thinking his damage control must be down now. We're going to put some more shots on him, because I'm just going to fight until I die or the game ends. I'm past caring at this point, because look where that other destroyer is. There we go. Kansas has not got high explosive loaded. Lose half my health. If that had been high explosive, I would have been out of the game. But there's a fire on him. There's the Sinop. We've got torpedoes at the ready. We're not going to fire our guns again. We're going to predict in case he slams it in reverse. We put the second salvo slightly behind, but we drop detection, narrowly avoiding another salvo from that guy, and he burns out for kill number 3. We can turn and push back into the cap now. I have no idea what that destroyer is doing way down there, as kill number 4 ticks up on the board for 194,500 damage. There's a minute and 15 left on the clock. We can't even get onto the cap in enough time to take this one. But that destroyer gets gunned down by the Adachi. I think that's the second destroyer that Adachi has gunned down. How that happened, given the amount of health that he had on him, I will never know. But it was an absolute spud run. I I don't think there was a lot that I could have done to change this game, given the play and the positions of the red team. I did what I could to get out there and spot, to give them as many targets as possible, putting myself out to risk a bit. All I'm doing is putting those torpedoes out there just in case that Yadachi sails into one by some miracle and gives me a kraken. But yeah, we'll just let them run. We're in the cap. We haven't got enough time to turn it. It is an absolute shame of a game. So guys, watch, listen, learn. Play your capture point. Support your team. Position where you can fire. And don't all just become a complete giant circle jerk at the back of the map. There's the end stats. It's a good game. It is a good game, but by the same measure, it is one of the worst defeats that I've seen in a while. 22-31 on the base XP. That would have been a 33-50 at least had it been a win. And when you look across to the red team with their win bonus, their highest finisher was the Adachi with just over 2600. So if you feel sorry for me, smash the like button. If you want to give me some condolences on that one, leave me a comment. If you want to buy me a pint to drown my sorrows, click the little dollar button at the bottom of the video and drop me a couple of quid in the pot. All donations gratefully received. Click this link, watch one of these videos, and take care of yourselves until next time. Goodbye.